Lesson 263. The power of surrender, letting go and letting God work. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, fulfillment always slips through your fingers? You chase your dreams, pour your heart into every effort, yet your soul remains restless, longing for something more. What if the peace you crave isn't found in striving harder, but in surrendering completely to God's will? Sometimes life feels like a relentless pursuit of what we think we deserve. We measure success by what we accumulate or achieve, only to discover that even when we reach our goals, we still feel incomplete. You might find yourself asking, is this all there is? What is the true purpose of my life? The answer lies not in doing more, but in being more connected to God, making Him the absolute center of your existence. There is a powerful secret to living a life filled with peace and divine purpose, involving God in everything. Not just the big decisions, not just during crises, but in the quiet, ordinary moments of your day. This is the reason God called David a man after His own heart. David wasn't perfect, but he consistently sought God's counsel, whether facing enemies or choosing a city to dwell in. His intimacy with God wasn't occasional, it was a way of life. You too can cultivate that closeness. Ask yourself, how many decisions do I truly surrender to God each day? Or do you rely on your own instincts, turning to God only when things get tough? It's easy to think, I don't want to bother God with small things. But in reality, those small things shape the fabric of your life. And the more you invite God into those moments, the more you train your heart to hear His voice. Surrender is an act of worship. Every time you seek God's guidance, you express humility and worship. It's a way of saying, Lord, I trust you more than I trust myself. This isn't weakness. It's the greatest strength a believer can have. The world glorifies self-reliance, but true success lies in complete dependence on God. As Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. Life is full of hidden dangers and unseen spiritual battles. No matter how wise or experienced we think we are, our understanding is limited. But surrendering to God opens the door to divine direction and supernatural peace. It allows us to walk through life's uncertainties with confidence, knowing that even when we can't see the way, God is already there. The enemy wants you disconnected from God, trapped in cycles of frustration, complaining, and doubt. Look at the Israelites. Despite witnessing miraculous signs, they struggled to trust God's provision. When they lacked water or food, instead of surrendering their needs to God, they turned to fear and idolatry. Their journey was long and painful, not because of God's absence, but because of their refusal to let go of control. How often do we do the same? When life doesn't go our way, we panic, complain, or make rash decisions out of fear. But what if, instead of reacting, we paused and surrendered? Each act of surrender saves us time, spares us heartache, and draws us closer to God's perfect plan. At the core of surrender is love. Ask yourself, how much do I truly love the Lord? Because when love for God fills your heart, surrender becomes second nature. Fear loses its grip, and obedience becomes joyful. You won't feel empty because you'll realize that in God's presence, you already have everything you need. This kind of love isn't passive, it's active and intentional. It means filling your mind with God's truth, guarding your heart against worldly distractions, and choosing Him above all else, even when it costs you something precious. When you decide to live a surrendered life, expect your devotion to be tested. God may ask you to give up things you cherish, not to punish you, but to protect you. He knows that anything competing with Him for space in your heart can become a spiritual snare. Remember, Jesus said, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Letting go can be painful, but it's also liberating. When you release your grip on what you can't control, you make room for God's blessings. You trade anxiety for peace, striving for rest, and fleeting pleasures for eternal joy. Surrendering isn't just about giving up control in big moments. It's about cultivating a daily posture of letting go. It's choosing not to always have the last word in an argument. It's forgiving when you'd rather hold a grudge. It's prioritizing what pleases God over what boosts your ego. Constantly ask yourself, does this choice glorify God, myself, or someone else? Without that awareness, it's easy to drift. But with it, every decision becomes an opportunity for worship. So, what's stopping you from surrendering? Are you afraid of losing control? Tired of waiting on God's timing? Or maybe you're just unsure of what full surrender looks like. Whatever it is, lay it down. Let today be the day you loosen your grip and invite God into every area of your life. Start small. Surrender your daily plans, your conversations, your thoughts. Practice asking, God, what do you want me to do here? And trust that He will answer. Because when you truly let go and let God work, you'll discover a life of abundance, purpose, and unshakable peace. Are you ready to surrender? Let God lead and watch your life transform beyond anything you could imagine.